Hi everyone, welcome to our second virtual school counselor workshop this week. Shortly, I would like to introduce myself in case we haven't met before. My name is Semra Yalçındoğan. I am the education manager working here for 17 years. Before talking about the program, I would like to give you some information about the British Council. We are the United Kingdom's international organization for cultural relations and educational opportunities. We work with over 100 countries in the fields of arts and culture, English language, education, and civil society. We deliver our work in line with our global policy of equal opportunity and welcome people from all sections of the communities. Our key role is to support you by providing information opportunities to enhance your knowledge in UK education. This workshop is designed with this purpose. As an opportunity, we also have the British Council agent and counsellor training that you can immerse yourself in UK education. The training has been updated to reflect all the changes which have been made to the UK UVI system in the UK. We have prepared another rich program to bring you together with the UK universities. The representatives will be talking about their programs, offers and entry criteria, and answer any questions that you may have. Just to summarize or list the universities, today we have Goldsmiths, followed by Portsmouth and Durham, and the rest of the week we will have Sheffield, Kent, Leicester, Leeds, Hereford, London South Bank University, University of the Arts London, Bournemouth University, Glasgow, and York. As part of the workshop, we are also organizing 7 webinars for your students and parents this week. Of course, you are more than welcome to attend those webinars. The webinars include visa, how to apply for a UK visa, and subject will cover some subject areas including engineering, law, arts and design, computer science, business, and finally we have very special session on jobs of the future. All students, including undergraduate and postgraduate, especially are invited to jobs of the future and visa sessions, but the others are more focusing on undergraduate students. The program also offers you a platform to meet UK institutions one-to-one. Don't forget to book an appointment with these 13 institutions. You'll be hearing about their programs and opportunities. Simply, you will need to fill in the form or file that I shared with you, or through the online link, or if you cannot access the link, just fill in the form and share with me. I'll pass it on to universities and they will send you an invitation for the appointment that you requested. Let me share some housekeeping notes. This workshop is open to all school counselors and teachers who support their students with their UK education journey. We have a joining link for each day's workshop and separately for each webinar session. The university sessions will last for 1 hour. We'll record all of the sessions and then we'll share the links with you afterwards. By the end of the day or by the end of the week, definitely. Our speakers will be happy to answer your questions. Please write them in the chat section within this tool, and we'll do the questions at the end. A couple of things to remind: don't forget to send me your school profiles if you haven't done so. We requested this information last March. If you haven't sent yet, please do send. I'll share the same profiles with the participating institutions as well. A final note from me: at the British Council, we take the safety, well-being, and protection of children, adolescents, and vulnerable adults very seriously, both in our face-to-face activities and online environments. Now, I would like to give the floor to Jack Longley, who is the International Student Recruitment Officer at Goldsmiths University. Jake, welcome, and over to you.
Hi, thank you very much for having me. I'm just going to quickly share my screen so that you can see. Oops. Hang on one second, I did the wrong one. 1 second. There we go. Because if I make it full screen from that one, you won't see it. Okay, so my name is Jake. So firstly, thank you, Semra, for having me, and thank you everyone for joining today. So yeah, my name is Jake, and I work for Goldsmiths, University of London. As Semra said, as we go through this, feel free to put your questions into the chat window, or if you have them at the end, I'll be more than happy to go through them then. My contact details are on the screen. So there's my email address and my work mobile phone number. So if you ever want to get hold of me, please feel free to contact me directly through these, either by emailing me, or I'm on almost any messenger app you can think of. So feel free to message me directly as well, if that's the better way for you to communicate. So I am the International Student Recruitment Officer at Goldsmiths, who's responsible for helping students from Turkey come and study at Goldsmiths. So let's get started. So Goldsmiths was founded in 1891. We've been part of the University of London since 1904, and we're considered the 60th most international university in the world. We're consistently ranked, excuse me, in the UK's top 25 for the quality of our research. We've got two statistics on the left as well. We were voted one of the UK's top creative and political universities by students. That was awarded, you can see it in 2017. However, we've been awarded this each year since then. And likewise, the second one on the left as well, London voted the joint top best university city in the world, and that was awarded in 2017. However, London gets voted the singular, the top best university city in the world, I think in 2018, 2019, possibly even 2020 as well. So, it's thought of as a really great place for students to study. So Goldsmiths itself, we are quite a small university by UK standards. We have 10,000 students. The average size of a UK university is about 17,000 students. We have a student to staff ratio of 15 students to 1 member of staff. Again, the average in the UK is about 25 to 30 students to 1 member of staff. Excuse me. So this means students at Goldsmiths get a lot more contact time with their tutor and a lot sort of closer supervision if they require it. Our students come from 141 different nationalities around the world, and about 20% of our students, so about 2,000 students, come from outside the EU. So London itself, I'm sure a lot of you who have been here will know London very well, but some information here for you that may help your students make a decision about whether this is the place they want to study. So firstly, London's quite a big city. It's 620 square miles. There's 8 million inhabitants. Obviously, it's not as big as some cities that we think of like Tokyo and Seoul and places like this. It's still quite a densely populated place, lots of people to meet. We've got 250 museums in the capital, ranging from historical museums or to very sort of niche museums looking at different periods of time and different collections. We have 320 languages spoken in the city by 240 different nationalities. So like I said a second ago, there's 141 nationalities at the university, and there's another 99 nationalities represented around London. So there's lots of different cultures and communities here to experience and to learn from and to enjoy life with at the university before you even get to meet the rest of the people around London as well. We have over 6,000 licensed restaurants serving food from all around the world. We have 500,000 students, and we have 15 million visitors visit the city annually. And this is more than New York, San Francisco, and Sydney, I think, combined. We've got over 500 cinema screens and 32,000 music performances happen each year. And this includes 250 different music festivals. And these festivals cater for all different types of music, from rock music to pop music, dance music to hip hop, but then also Indian music, Italian music, lots of different music from countries like from all around the world. So it's a really great experience, really wonderful part of our city. We've got over 100 theatres, obviously our famed West End, which is comparable in sort of reputation to Broadway in New York. We've got 5 international airports around the city, all between about a 30-minute train journey to maybe an hour and a half at most. We've got 143 parks in the city. London's considered one of the greenest cities in Europe for the amount of green spaces we have. So if anyone needs to find sort of peace and quiet away from how busy the city can be, there's 143 parks to choose from. London is also synonymous with sports, with all different types of sports. Like obviously we had the Olympics in 2012, also rugby and cricket and things like this. But a really good example is our football teams. We've got 19 professional football clubs in the city, and I think about 6 or 7 in the Premier League, one of the most famous football leagues in the world. And London itself has over 2,000 years of history. So there's lots to explore here, lots to find out, so much different culture and communities to explore this with as well. So obviously, a lot of you will know London. This map here shows central London. So some of the landmarks you can see on here. So on the left, you can see Big Ben. So obviously, this is where the Houses of Parliament are. Just left of there, it says Buckingham Palace. This is where the Queen lives. North of there, it says Selfridges. This is where Oxford Street is, our main shopping street, sort of famous shopping street in London. At the bottom right of the map, it shows Goldsmiths in pink letters. So we're in an area called New Cross. So we're just outside the city centre. We've got 2 train stations, New Cross Gate and New Cross. These both travel into the centre of the map where it says the Shard and it says London Bridge in kind of grey letters. So this is our London Bridge. There's a train station there. To get from our campus to London Bridge takes about 5 to 10 minutes by train. Likewise, to get from Goldsmiths to Selfridges at the top left to get up to Oxford Street takes about 25 minutes. So even though it's the other side of London, it's still really easy to get from our campus to almost anywhere in the city. So, as a lot of you will know, there's a lot of universities in London, I think about 25 to 30, but a lot of the universities are not single campus universities. So this means students have to travel between buildings to get to lectures or to libraries or from their accommodation to their lectures, things like this. However, Goldsmiths is one of the universities that is a single campus site. So every building our students need to study in, to learn from, all the facilities they need, the libraries, things like this, are all inside the yellow dotted line at the bottom of this map. That's our entire campus. We have about 7 accommodation buildings, and you can see 5, 6 of them on this map. So obviously there's one right on the campus. There are 4 just over the road, just to the right of the campus. One is just off the map, but it's about a 5-minute walk away. It's very quick to get from there. And the 3 just over the road, they will take literally 2 to 3 minutes to get from the accommodation building to the campus. The one at the top right looks quite far away, but I actually don't live too far from there. It takes me about 10 minutes to walk from my building to the campus when I'm at work. And then we have another 1 or 2 in an area called Camberwell, which is west of where we are. So that's going to the left of this map. It's a single road between Camberwell and New Cross where we are. It's a bus journey, but it takes about 15 minutes. It's really easy to do. But also on this map, you can see just how close we are to the city. Like I said, we're about 5 to 10 minutes by train. You can see the New Cross Gate train line going into the city. You can see where it says the Shard. That's where sort of London Bridge kind of begins. That's the start of the city centre. And the Shard, obviously, I talked about this building a couple of times. It's the tallest building in Western Europe. So it's quite easy to sort of see that building from anywhere. It's quite a good sort of spot on the map to use as a location finder, I guess. So on our campus, I'm going to sort of talk you through some of the buildings we have and what we have here as well. So the bottom left building is the Richard Hogarth building. This is the building that we were founded in. It's our oldest one. So we were founded in 1891, but this building was built in 1841. The building on the right is Deptford Town Hall. This used to be a town hall for the local council, but Goldsmiths took it over quite a while ago. And we have some lecture theatres in there and different facilities. Top left is our Professor Stuart Hall building. This is quite a new building. I believe it's built in the last sort of 4 or 5 years. This is where our media department is. So there's lots of like TV and film studios and radio studios, things like that in there. And then top right, the building with the kind of the sculpture on it, this is the Ben Pimlott building. This is where we have our design studios and lots of different facilities like this. And you can see the Shard there, that building I keep on talking about. You can see the Shard sticking out from the London skyline. So as you can see from the buildings I just kind of tore through, we have a real mix of heritage and modern buildings on our campus. We've got some really wonderful facilities as well, like our cafes and canteen areas that provide a whole sort of series of different diets, from vegetarian and vegan to like halal and kosher options. We've got our library, which is a really wonderful resource for the students. We've got our own cinema on campus. We've got a gym and tennis courts. We've got the accommodation, which is very close by. And there's some really wonderful healthcare, both on the campus, but then also NHS healthcare. There's literally about a 2-minute walk from the campus. It's a really great doctor's surgeries that they're here to look after the students and help them with any sort of concerns that they may have. So South London itself, especially specifically South East London, where we are in New Cross, is a real dynamic and urban, multicultural part of London. You get a real experience of London life here. It's quite a nice residential area with lots of different communities from around the world that make their home here, as well as people from Britain as well. Like I said earlier, we're close to the city centre, 5 to 10 minutes by train to London Bridge. We've also got some really great bus links that are really easy to get by. So like I said, the train takes 5 to 10 minutes, but to get from New Cross to Piccadilly Circus, so next to Oxford Street, takes about 40 minutes, maybe 45 minutes by bus. It's really not very long. It's quite easy to do. But then in our area as well, we've got some really wonderful green spaces. Like I mentioned earlier, all the parks that London has. There's a really great park next to our campus called Telegraph Hill. Obviously, by its name, it's up on a hill. There's some really beautiful views of London from there. But then in our area as well, we've got lots of art galleries, live music venues, restaurants, bars. There's even some really great nightclubs. So it's a really great place to hang out before the students even get into the city itself. Some other things to do at the university as well that is sort of good for the students to know about is the clubs and societies they can join that gives them a social life and social activities outside of their class and outside of their accommodation. Each university has these, and these are sort of special sort of interest groups that the students have found themselves and run themselves, and they're there, they do them to meet people who have a similar interest as them, a similar hobby as them, to go and do these activities away from the classroom. So you find lots of different things from politics, music, faith and academic societies, but also things like the chocolate society that we have. So these are students who really like chocolate. They get together every now and then and share chocolate from around the world. And also our Happy Calm Knitting Society. Students get together and they sit and they knit maybe a scarf or a jumper and just do something to sort of, keep calm and keep peaceful and mindful away from like the stress and the rigors of academic study. But like I said as well, from politics and music and faith, we also have some really wonderful sports-based unions and societies. So dance, cheerleading, karate, boxing, football, all different types of things like this. To give you an idea of some of the things that we have at the university, we have our Smiths magazine, which is a student-led sort of newspaper. So students who may be taking journalism programs, but students from all different programs will be on that sort of learning how to be a journalist, taking photographs, learning how to sort of write news and things like this. We have a really wonderful, supportive LGBTQ plus students community. Hacksmiths is actually our most popular society at the moment. These are students who are really interested in computer software and learning how to code and build programs. So again, there'll be students from computer science degrees, but there'll be students from all different programs on there to helping with that society as well. We have our Christian Union community, just an example of one of the faith societies we have. We also have a Muslim society, Jewish society, all different societies like this. We have our vegetarian and vegan society, photography, taekwondo, yoga. Our women's football team is one of the best women's football teams in London. We're really, really proud of them and hope their success continues. But also tennis and drama, lots of different things like this. Like I said, this is just a couple. There are lots. It's a really great place for your students to meet people outside of their class, outside of their accommodation, and build that support network that they need both through life and also through their studies when they're here as well. So obviously I've talked to you about where we are and the kind of things that students can do here, but to give you an idea of all the different departments that we have, all the different topics that we teach. We're considered an arts, humanities and social sciences university. We're famous for our art and design programs, possibly also like our media and psychology as well. But outside of these, we also teach anthropology, history, business and management, politics and international relations, law, visual cultures, English, computing. The list kind of goes on and on and on. But what we focus on, like I said, arts, humanities and social sciences. So what we're sort of really looking at is creativity and understanding how we can sort of make things better for ourselves and for society. Out of the, I think it's 18 departments we have, about 14 of them are considered inside the world's elite. So we're number 4 in the UK for design and art. We're third in the UK for our psychology research intensity. We're seventh in the world for media, 14th in the world for art and design, 42nd in the world for sociology. We're inside the world's top 100 for psychology, and a lot of our departments, I believe it's about 10 of them, are ranked either first or joint first in the UK for the research intensity that we undertake. And obviously, whilst they may be research degrees, like postgraduate degrees, the research that the academics and the students do filters down to the undergraduate programs that we provide as well. So it's a really sort of interesting, well, really sort of like, highlight of what we do. I've got some sort of admin here for you as well. I'll just give you an idea. I'm sure you're very used to working with universities who use UCAS. We're obviously one of them. I think all British universities do. The application deadline for this year was the 29th of January. It's obviously usually the 15th of January. However, for international students, the deadline is the 30th of June. So still time to apply. We do recommend in normal circumstances that students apply as early as possible. This year, things are obviously a bit different. There may be more courses that have spaces than maybe otherwise, so still a good chance to apply now if you do have any students who are waiting to make their mind up. But we would still recommend in sort of, going forward to next year, apply early and start getting those things sorted ahead of any sort of further deadlines. The important thing for Goldsmiths is how important the personal statement is. The first step, as always, is the academic entry requirements. Those have to be met. But the personal statement is obviously the student's chance to really tell us who they are and what it is they want to do. And we carefully review the personal statement as part of our admissions process. Our arts and design programs need an e-portfolio, so an electronic portfolio, so digital scans or photographs of the student's work. We request these after the student has applied. I've also got some information that I can share, either direct about what we're looking for in portfolios. I can share that with you later. There's our UCAS codes here as well, but these are on our website. You'll be able to find these really easily. To go through the entry requirements, I've got some basic ones here for you. Our standard entry requirement is usually A-level BBB, but some programs need ABB. For IB, the International Baccalaureate, with 33 points overall, with 3 high-level subjects at 655. And then we need a score of either a GPA of 4.5 or 80% in the following Turkish qualifications, so we can accept those as well. Obviously, the bottom one, the 2-year associate degree, is a GPA of 3.5. But these are our sort of standard entry requirements. Some courses, like I said, maybe ABB, there's about a handful of them, but I can go through these with you if you ever have any questions. It's not a problem to do. Likewise, for the English language entry requirements, we need an IELTS or an equivalent language qualification. We've got a whole list of different things we accept, and obviously things like A-levels and IBs are included on that list, so A-levels and international baccalaureates. The standard thing that we ask for is 6.0 overall in the IELTS, 6.0 in writing, and then no elements lower than 5.5 across the test. Obviously, those are the IELTS scores, but on our website, I can share this with you as well directly. We have a long list of all the different qualifications that we accept with the scores for those qualifications as well, so we can sort of convert this all for you. We do have a scholarship. This is closed this year, unfortunately, but it will give you an idea of how we work for next year. So the Goldsmiths International Scholarship, we offer amounts of £2,000, £4,000 and £5,000 towards the tuitions, the students' tuition fees. Students have to be an international fee-paying student. They have to have an offer to study with us, so either conditional or unconditional. They also have to have accepted their offer, so they have to tell us that they're coming. And then the final thing they have to do is they have to write a second personal statement direct for this scholarship, telling us why they're a good candidate for the scholarship. So explaining their academic and or their work history, any volunteering they've done, and then what they plan to do as their future career, things like this. The deadlines each year are the 31st of March and the 17th of May. So you've got 2 opportunities to apply. But like I said, unfortunately, this is closed this year. We've gone past that 17th of May deadline. So this is the Goldsmiths own scholarship, but there are still lots of external funding opportunities available. There's a website called the Scholarship Hub, which I'll share in the chat window with you in a minute. The Scholarship Hub, which lists lots of different external sources of funding that students can still access this summer. But obviously, this gives you an idea of what we usually offer. So this will be available again next year. The students as well, just sort of touch on the support services we have around the university. They're there to help the students and help make sure they're comfortable and they're doing okay whilst they're studying with us. So firstly, we have a dedicated study abroad team. So what these guys do is help our students go abroad, go to another university around the world to study for a semester or two, maybe a full year. So there's lots of opportunities there for students to expand their studies. We have a really wonderful immigration advisory service. So these are the guys who issue the CAS and go through the visa process with the students. We've got one of the best in the UK here. So they really know their stuff and they're really great with their advice. We make sure that every student we speak to has a really great chance of getting the visa. So we really sort of carefully check all the documents and make sure everything's ready to go. So these guys are always on hand if the students ever need any help. We have our wellbeing team and our disability support to make sure our students get the support and the advice and the access they need both on the campus and around their lessons. We have our campus support officers and our student advisors. So these can obviously help with all kind of things, from small things like directions around the university to advice on how to deal with certain issues that may come up. We have our multi-faith chaplaincy and our student union, our LGBTQ plus group, and then we also have welcome weeks and leavers events. So the welcome weeks, when the international students first arrive, we have some special events just for them so they can get used to the campus, meet each other before the rest of the students arrive, literally like a couple of days later. And then also we have our, when everyone else arrives as well, there are lots of other events to get everyone together as well. And then also we have our leavers events. So when the students have finished their programs, when they've graduated, there's lots of parties and things like this that happen, and also like careers events as well. There's some really good opportunities there to sort of meet people and find careers. So excuse me, just an update here on COVID-19 and obviously the pandemic. We follow the government's advice really closely. We work with an organisation called Public Health England, who are the people who are responsible for public health in England. So we follow their advice and what we need to do on campus really, really closely. So almost all of our staff are working remotely throughout this pandemic. So that includes me. I've been working at home for over a year now. When the campus is open, it's open just to students. We started opening up recently because the government's allowed us to do this. So it's just students on the campus with obviously the lecturers and then the support teams that are needed. So student advisors, wellbeing teams, disability support, things like this. But I'm not going to campus yet. I'll hopefully be next year sometime that we get there. Our plan is for September is for the courses to be delivered live on campus, physically in person. Obviously, the pandemic is a fluid situation where things change day to day, but the current plan is that we will be here on the campus in person in September. For some students who may not be able to travel to the university, there will be the option of taking their programs online, but we're very much wanting everyone to be here. However, as I said, that's where we stand now. The situation changes day to day. We do have a backup plan to be able to deliver our programs online if we need to. We did this quite successfully over the last year. Obviously, our main priority is keeping the students safe. And making sure that everyone still has access to the education that they're coming to us for. But like I said, we follow the government's advice. We can move swiftly and quickly when things come up. We've got some really great actions that happen on the campus now as well. There's hand sanitizer stations everywhere. Everyone has to wear a mask if they have to, unless they're exempt whilst they're on the campus. So there's lots of good things like this happening. We have a dedicated page on our website with lots of information. The website link is here. There's lots of information from how we're planning to do things in September, how we're reacting now, advice we're receiving, as well as you can see student and staff case numbers and things like this. So you can see exactly what we're doing. So almost at the end, so I'm just going to go through now. So like I said at the start, we're part of the University of London and we joined in 1904. I think we were the 6th university to join, somewhere around there, 5th or 6th. So there's 17 universities in the University of London. So these include UCL, King's College London, London School of Economics, London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, lots of really wonderful, prestigious universities and colleges like this. So being part of this network, is a real sort of benefit for the students. The students firstly get to use the libraries and the facilities at each different university. So a student at Goldsmiths can use the library at UCL or KCL or LSE. They can also speak to the departments, and also we collaborate with each other across our programs. So there's lots of really great opportunities and access like this that the students get when they're part of us. The other side is they get access to the University of London's careers website. This is the largest careers website in Europe, and it's only accessible by University of London students. This website advertises jobs the students can do now whilst they're studying with us, but also careers for when they graduate. It's a really wonderful opportunity and a really great resource they get to use. Then being part of this network, they then join a network that has taught 55 presidents and prime ministers, 84 Nobel laureates, 6 Grammy winners, and so many other sort of amazing people as well, both famous and not famous. At Goldsmiths, we've taught some really wonderful people like Steve McQueen. He's the first Black director to win the Best Picture Oscar at the Oscar Awards in Hollywood. He won in 2013 for the film 12 Years a Slave. He also had a really amazing career retrospective exhibition at the Tate Modern, I want to say last year, the year before. He's an artist in his own right as well as a filmmaker. So obviously his photography and things like this was up, and it was quite an amazing exhibition. We've taught some really wonderful musicians, like the gentleman on the left, James Blake, who's won the Mercury Prize and the Ivor Novello Award. The Mercury Prize is one of the biggest music prizes in the UK, and the Ivor Novello Songwriting Award, I believe, is a worldwide award, so it's quite big. Fashion designers like Mary Quant and Margaret Howell. Mary Quant is a fashion designer back in like the 60s and 70s. But if you're not familiar with her name, you'll definitely know some of her work. She's the person responsible for popularizing the miniskirt. So quite an amazing designer. We've taught some really wonderful novelists who've won awards as well, like Evie Wyld, John Harvey, Ross Raisin, the 3 people at the top of the screen. But also composers who've won the won BAFTA awards, Olivier's, Emmys, and Tonys, like Simon Hale, Adrian Sutton, and Paul Englishby. And more business side of things, we've also taught people like Rob Stringer, the gentleman on the right, and then Terry Felgate, the gentleman on the left. So Rob Stringer was the chair of the Sony Music Group in the USA, and Terry Felgate was the former managing director of EMI Records. EMI Records, I think they're still going. They were one of the world's sort of largest record labels. They signed Queen and Radiohead and bands like this. But we've also taught 7 winners of the Turner Arts Prize, so people like Damien Hirst. And then so many social workers, teachers, designers, journalists, programmers, broadcasters, academics, business leaders, politicians, and entrepreneurs. In fact, we taught 336 psychologists, 487 social workers, 882 designers, 7,308 teachers, and 1,840 historians. So obviously these are the people who we may not know their names, they may not be famous and musicians and things like this, but these are the people who come and study with us and then go out there and are helping to change society, make things better for everyone and for you and I, and make sure the people that come behind us have the same access and better access and better opportunities than we did. And we're super proud of all of these people, and these all come together to make one Goldsmiths. So final point to make, this is a photo I took on a flight home from Berlin. If you ever fly from Berlin to London, fly with British Airways, make sure your seat is on the right and you get the window seat and you get this view of London as you fly towards Heathrow. The final point I want to make is in a photo like this. Obviously I took it, so I'm going to gloat for a second, but the thing you can see in something like this, the city centre of London, is obviously its history with things like the Tower of London at the bottom right, that castle kind of looking building. So that building is, I think, it's almost 1,000 years old. It's not far away. You've then got things like London Bridge, the bridge just a bit north of it. On the top right, there's a kind of a semicircle looking building. That's the Barbican, a really amazing piece of post-war British architecture. The top left, you can kind of just see it sticking out behind the wing. It's the Houses of Parliament, things like this. But then also all the modern things we've got going for us, like some of the financial buildings that are here. There's one's called the Gherkin and the Sky Garden. There's also the Shard. And there's lots of, just knowing inside this sort of, it looks quite a small area when you're up on a plane, but it's obviously huge. But all of our art galleries and exhibition spaces and museums and music venues and restaurants and bars, they're all here, and it's a really wonderful place to be. And so I actively encourage our students to come and study in London, specifically at Goldsmiths. So thank you very much for joining today. hopefully there's some information that you may not have known, but obviously just sort of here to sort of go over things that you may know and reconfirm things as well. So my name is Jake. Thank you for joining me. Here's my contact details again. There's some really wonderful content as well, specifically on our YouTube channel. So Goldsmiths London, go to YouTube and search for Goldsmiths London. Some really great videos specifically with our students explaining what life is like here. So yeah, I think it'll be a great place to go. But yeah, thank you for joining. Feel free to contact me if you've got any questions. But also, if you've got any questions now, I'll be happy to take them as well.
Thank you, Jay. The photo is amazing.
Thank you.
Dear counselors, do you have any questions for Jay? Okay. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay.
I think everything froze a little bit for me then.
Well, it seems we don't have any questions.
That's okay. I think the final thing I just want to add is this summer, a lot of universities, and Goldsmiths included, are still having open days. So these are normally where students come to visit the campus, but obviously because of the pandemic, we can't do that. But we're doing them virtually. So yeah, I definitely recommend students to visit the open days virtually, meet the academics, see the campus, and learn about the programs that way. So yeah, have a search on the university's website and you'll see the details.
Thank you, Jack. If we don't have any questions, then we can close the session, and then the next session will start in 20 minutes. Jack, thank you for your time and this useful information. See you next time. Take care.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for coming, everyone.
No problem at all. See you later. Bye-bye.